It's time to build momentum, to interrupt and end race-based hatred and violence.
Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here, and it is time for today's episode of Momentum. It is time for us to build some momentum to interrupt and end race-based hatred and violence. And if you're here, that means you are as interested in doing that as I am. Now, and just in case it is your first time, maybe someone sent you the link or you just happened across the What Is Mine to Do Facebook group or one of the places where this is posted. So there are two things that you might want to know. One, this series of building momentum is connected to a public Facebook group, What Is Mine to Do to Interrupt or End Race-Based Hatred or Violence. And we ask ourselves and each other that question on a daily basis, and we post ideas and information and education and trends, all kinds of things to help us address race-based hatred and violence in the personal interactions we have. And that is different from what many of us also do, which is join community organized events and organizations to work on the collective level. What is mine to do is, what do I individually choose to do when I am in a situation where I can speak up or where I can make a difference? Second thing that you should know is, yes, I'm the moderator of the group, the founder of the group, and I work not only on race-based hatred and violence issues and opportunities, but in the rest of my business, I engage with leaders and organizations all over the country that are committed to being inclusive of all kinds of people in their business or in the customer base they serve. So that's just to give you context if this is your first time. For this Momentum series, we come together every Monday evening just for around 15 minutes or less to recommit. And every week I either share a trend or a tip or a technique that can be used as an individual. You don't have to get permission from anyone. You don't have to join a group. You don't have to go anywhere specific, but something that can help you uphold your commitment on an individual basis. So what are we talking about tonight? So tonight, I wanted to share a tactic, right? A tactic, something for each one of us to do. And you might call it a homework assignment. That's okay if you do. You might call it a technique to use. And it is a technique that you can use in order to educate yourself and others in a way that generally will not make people defensive. And then for your own self to expand what you know about people from different racial and ethnic identity groups. And so your assignment, if you choose to accept it, is to post an educational video about the achievements or the impact that a person of color has had now or is currently having. Actually, I would love it if you would focus on people who are alive today, although it's perfectly fine to go back in history. And why am I asking you to do this, and what does it have to do with interrupting race based hatred and violence? So, race based hatred and violence is not always physical. A lot of times it is verbal, or it is it shows up in how people act or behave or what they say or do, and they don't even realize it. And a lot of the time, that is because they don't know very much about people from different racial ethnic categories than their own. And even though this assignment or this task or this homework says to post an educational video about the achievements or the impact of a person of color, if you are a person of color, then I want to challenge you to go do some research for someone from a different racial or ethnic identity group than your own, because all of us need to know about and have examples of people from all racial ethnic groups, because that is what helps us really understand that no group is monolithic. No group has only, one thing or one characteristic, and no group is superior to any other group. There are achievers and leaders and movers and shakers in every racial and ethnic category. So I'll admit, for a long time, and even now, it's really easy if I'm trying to educate um, people about some lesser known people who haven't been celebrities, but maybe inventors or authors. It's easy for me, especially if it's a predominantly white group of people. It's very easy for me to list or to share a number of people who are Black or African American, because over the years I have searched and educated myself. And in the most recent, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 years, I have challenged myself to be able to also share about people who are Latino, or people who are Asian, or people who are Native American, or different ethnic groups, even within those broad categories. And I'm not where I want to be with that, but I realized that I needed to know about Black folks because I'm Black, and I there was so much that wasn't included in my formal education, and I needed that, and I need to be able to share that, and I also need to be able to model that. All of us need to know about many achievers and leaders in many different groups. So I will add that little extra challenge if you're a person of color and you know a lot about achievers in your own identity group, to challenge yourself and go look for examples. And when we're doing this, if you choose to do this activity, first and foremost, we're educating ourselves. So in different situations, we each have more information. But you also then are equipping yourself to educate others in a way that, in general, will not be felt as defensive. So here's some tips if you go forward to do this. Now, it can be someone famous, someone who's a celebrity, someone who's an artist or a politician, or someone who's known or pretty easy to find out about. That's okay. You can do that. But even better, find someone in your industry or your profession, even if you're retired, like maybe you were a nurse for 40 years and then you retired. So in nursing or in healthcare, find names of people and what they did that was noteworthy, or what they are doing now. Or maybe you want to look for someone who has excelled or is currently excelling in some way in an area that is related to your hobbies or your recreational activities. And I recommend this because often we just think of kind of the big name people. But if all of my friends, for example, know that I am an avid roller skater, then they won't be so surprised if I mention the names of someone who created a certain style of roller skating. They would be like, no one would know that but Tracy. But she roller skates, so she's not trying to cram anything down my throat. It's just kind of an interesting side conversation. Or people who know that I read a lot, right, in certain categories. So maybe I want to go learn about a poet, or I want to go learn about someone who has written a biography, an autobiography, and that becomes what I share. So when you share things that are of interest to you and that align with how you show up in the world, that is another thing that decreases resistance or defensiveness, because people kind of go, oh, yeah, it would make sense that you're sharing that, instead of feeling like, who do you think you are? You're just going to brag about all this research you've done and cram it down my throat, right? So you want to make it easy. You want to make it interesting for yourself, and you want to make it easy to share. If you love surfing, find someone who is a surfer or who does some kind of water sports, right? If you're a skier, go look up the founders of the Black National Black Ski Summit and learn about that for yourself, but then be able to share that because it's something that is in alignment with who what you are known for or with who you are. I also encourage people when I work with spiritual communities and churches to really go out of their way to find out who some of the movers and shakers were, who were some of the people that influenced process or policy in their own religion or denomination or spiritual belief system, because that's another place where when you are engaging with people who share that same background, that you are able to, you know, give them information that they will probably be interested in, instead of just random generic history or titles. So I'm asking you to actually post a video. Now, maybe that's a video that you find about a key person in history or a key person who is an achiever now. Or maybe it is a video that you make after you do the research and you either, jump on Instagram Live, or you pre-record on your phone a 2-minute video that shares highlights, and then you post that to whatever social media channels you use. And if by chance you are seeing this because someone passed it on to you, but you don't really do a lot on social media, then I would say that still do the research and find the information, and then you don't have to be online to commit to share it with 10 people in the next week. 10 people by phone or in person. Go to lunch with a couple of people and you say, hey, I just learned this information. Can I share it with you? But if you're not on social media, excuse me, if you're not on social media, then commit to share what you research and learn with at least 10 people. Now, if you do share it on social media, even if you're not a member of the What Is Mine to Do Facebook group, I do ask that you use hashtag Mine to Do. MINETODO, one word, Mine to Do. And that way we can track different people posting different information and we can all learn from it. So that's building momentum this week. Post an educational video about the achievements or the impact of a person of color. And if you're not on social media, then, excuse me, if you're not using social media, then please be sure to share what you learn with at least 10 people. And always, you can join us at the What Is Mine to Do Facebook group. It's public. Just know that in order to actually join, you can see it just by going. But in order to join or to post, please be sure to answer the questions for new group members. My name is Tracy Brown. I will see you again next Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time, right here. And in the meantime, I really look forward to seeing you in the What Is Mine to Do Facebook group. Bye for now.